So, welcome to the one person in the chat. I didn't actually expect anybody to really be up at this hour. I did want to leave this message for, whoever's going to find it later. I kind of just wanted to tap in real quickly to the, the divine feminine and masculine energy. I am feeling a shift. This shift has been taking place. It's been taking place for a while, for the past few months. But this tonight and going forward, over this weekend, it's a major shift that is, it's going to be felt, it's going to be seen, it is tangible, very pertinent, very significant to, the directions that we're going to be going in going forward. Okay. So basically, what has happened is that the divine feminine has been forced by the circumstances to stand in her power. Okay, and so the journey for the divine feminine has been one of self-love and self-care, having to learn to let go of the 3D version of their divine masculine, to accept a lot of things, to face, to face her shadows, to, forced to protect her inner child, forced to cultivate a relationship with the inner child as well as with the higher self, forced to cultivate a relationship with her spirit guides, with her angels, her ancestors, with her great spirit, the creator, whatever she calls, quote unquote, God or goddess. The divine feminine has been forced to stand in her power, to love the self. And by loving the self, divine feminine, you have also been freeing yourself. And I know that it has not felt that way, but by loving yourself, you are freeing yourself, okay, from the pain, from the emotional traumas. A lot of the divine feminines, the things that you have gone through, especially the emotional traumas that you have recently escaped from and freed yourself from, whether you realize it or not, you were working out and completing karmic cycles that have been part of your family's bloodline for a long time. And so this is why it was so traumatic for you, okay? But you, being the contemporary, you have actually cleared a lot of karma from your family's bloodline, okay? And you will be seeing the rewards of the work that you've done. You will not go unrewarded, okay? The things that you've done, every tear that you have cried, all of the impossible decisions that you have had to make. You have been very courageous, and the divine has not missed one turn of the wheel that you have consciously decided to make, divine feminine. You are headed into a period of divine blessings, okay? At the same time, divine masculine is feeling frustration because the divine masculine, while you were doing the work, divine feminine, the divine masculine was, basically playing. okay, and having fun and having adventures and, living their quote unquote best lives, okay. And so now, as the cosmic wheel is turning for the entire planet of Gaia, then, the divine masculine is now beginning to feel the frustration that the divine feminine was feeling weeks ago. Okay, the divine masculine is now beginning to hit rock bottom. The divine masculine is beginning to crash and to burn. Okay, the divine masculine now wants closure where they wouldn't give divine feminine closure. Okay, and now divine feminine does not feel that she needs closure from the divine masculine. Okay, so the tables are beginning to turn. The tables have definitely turned. Okay, the divine masculine is now beginning to see that they are the ones who was emotionally unstable. Okay, they were, accused the divine feminine of being emotionally unstable, of being bipolar, of being quote unquote crazy. And now that the divine feminine has withdrawn her energy from the entire situation, now the divine feminine is focusing her energy, her attention, and her love on the self. The divine masculine is forced to face the fact that they were the ones who were quote unquote bipolar. They were the ones who were emotionally unstable. They were the ones who were quote unquote crazy. The divine masculine is now desperate for closure. They realize that, and they're realizing too late, that they have missed plenty of opportunities to give the divine feminine closure, to have closure for themselves. The divine feminine at one time was begging for closure. The divine feminine at one time felt that she needed closure. And now the divine masculine is realizing that many of them have missed the opportunity of their lives. They're paying the price for their reckless decisions. The divine feminine is ready to move forward. The divine feminine is, and I can speak for this myself, just ready to put a lot of distance between me and the pain of the past, the betrayal, the lies. You know, you just want to, walk away. You don't want to look back at any of that, because there's nothing to gain from it. You have learned the lessons, and there's nothing to gain from, contemplating that any further. And now the divine masculine is in a place of contemplation. Welcome to the two people in the chat. I actually did not expect anyone to join me, because I did not start the witching hour release, I believe, until like 10 to 3. And so welcome to the people who are up, who are awake. Um, but basically, I'm okay. So I offer myself body, blood, energy for the demon Loa to possess me, mount me, ride me, feel through me day and night. Come into me, please take possession of me, ride me forever as you wish. Clayton Davies. Okay. So basically, the divine masculine is dreaming. They basically, the divine feminine is basically dreaming of moving away. They are no longer focused on trying to go into union with the divine masculine, but the divine feminine is just dreaming of being whole within herself, having adventures going forward, and basically is not really needing anything from the divine masculine. The divine feminine has let go and is disconnecting. Okay, and from she's disconnecting from the masculine in the 3D, and she is embodying her own divine masculine energy within herself. She's making logical decisions, okay, and being very practical in her decisions. Welcome, musically inclined. So yeah, I didn't expect anyone to join me tonight to be awake, but I'm thankful for you guys being here. So, thank you for sharing this time and space with me. It was almost 4 o'clock before I started, because my granddaughter was up, and she's probably still up. I just took her in the room with her mom, but So, when she's here, she's hangs out with me. And so I had to wait until she was ready to rest. So yes, welcome, Kia D. I'm glad you finally caught me live. So yeah, I'm talking about the shift that has happened with the divine masculine and feminine energies. Okay. And I can attest to it myself, like, as far as what the divine feminine is feeling and what I'm feeling as I tap into the divine masculine energy. Because the divine masculine is now just beginning to go through some of the grieving, some of the closure, and beginning to do some of the work that divine feminine has already done. Okay, so the divine feminine is ahead of the masculine on the path. The divine feminine is no longer really focused on the masculine. The divine feminine is really beginning to enjoy loving the self, and the self-care was forced in this position out of necessity, but now it's beginning to be the main priority. And the divine masculine is feeling that lack of nurturing divine feminine energy, because her attention is no longer focused on the divine masculine. Okay, so basically, the divine masculine now wants to come forward and clear the air. Okay, after all of the shenanigans in the past, and all of their reckless decisions and behavior that they've done in the past, that have caused the feminine so much pain, that out of necessity she has developed her divine masculine qualities, and is now thinking more logically, okay, about her future, and about going forward, and about allowing him into her space, or whether or not to do that. And basically, the divine masculine still has not taken responsibility for the actions that they have done in the past. And so therefore the divine feminine is basically, releasing herself from that pain and moving forward, okay, focused on her own destiny. Okay, so one thing about those tables, my people, is that they do always turn. Okay, and especially, with this full moon that's coming, and it's happening over this weekend. Okay, that the tables are definitely turning, and I'm feeling a desperation in the energy of the divine masculine, because a lot of they're getting a lot of the karma back from the things that they have done. A lot of them have ruined the relationship with the karmic. First of all, the karmic relationship was never meant to last, but it was meant to facilitate a lesson. And now the lessons have come full circle. Okay, so a lot of them are going through turmoil, and going through a lot of challenges this weekend in their karmic relationships. A lot of their karmics have walked away, or they have been forced to walk away or let go of that karmic situation altogether. So they're finding themselves facing themselves. Okay, a lot of them have run out of options. Okay, even though they had a lot of options, they're basically being forced to face the fact that none of those options are fulfilling. Okay, and so basically they're being forced to face the fact that the unfulfillment is not something that exists outside of them, but it's within them. So they're being forced to face their shadows. Okay, does Lucifer represent the female energy trying to be free of the domineering male energy? I mean, you can look, it could be looked at in that way. It just depends on what angle you look at it at, because when, as the female energy is releasing herself from the divine masculine energy, this energy can manifest itself in whatever way. I'm not feeling I'm saying the Lucifer energy. I'm feeling more of the divine mother energy, as as basically putting it on to myself, as far as my inner child. A lot of the inner child work is basically learning how to mother yourself and to nurture yourself, to care and protect and provide for the self. Okay, so it's more of like the divine mothering energy when I go into my meditations. And while I'm doing my shadow and inner child work, I am seeing actually, I'm seeing the Black Madonna. Okay, and I am the child in her arms. But again, as this, because the divine feminine energy is fluid. Okay, just like Oshun. Okay, Oshun is water, but Oshun can manifest herself as steam, as a solid, as ice, as whatever way that I need to be. Okay, so I'm not going to say that the Lucifer energy would not be a way that the divine feminine would manifest herself. But I would say that if you're going to rise into the higher realms of the higher dimensions, then you want to vibrate with some of the higher goddess qualities, and it was going to be more of a mothering, nurturing, loving, unconditionally loving nature. Okay. So, but the divine masculine is basically being forced to face the truth, okay, and hold themselves accountable for their choices and decisions, okay. The divine feminine was left very vulnerable, okay, and constantly under attack. The divine feminine was basically forced again to integrate this divine masculine energy. It was very painful. It was extremely painful. Okay. I was on the verge of giving up, and he slowly started to level up and do his work. The divine masculine is catching up in their own way. This moon is intense. Things are coming up. Yes. I've been feeling, Kia. I've been feeling, I do feel the ice around the divine masculine's heart beginning to melt, because they are being forced to feel now, okay, by the circumstances that they created for themselves. They're beginning to realize that they cannot hurt the divine feminine without hurting themselves, okay. And so now a lot of them are just now beginning to feel the pain, okay. And so yes, a lot of the divine masculines have actually been spiritually demoted, okay, for not taking responsibility for their actions, okay, and they're feeling the pain of that, okay. So now they want the comfort of again from the divine mother. They want that mothering, nurturing, unconditionally loving energy from the divine feminine, and the only way that they are going to get it is to honor the divine feminine as just that, the divine feminine. There's going to be no disrespect. There's not going to be any lies. None of that is going to be accepted. The divine feminine is in her Queen of Swords energy, meaning that, yes, I'm very loving, I'm very nurturing, I'm very unconditionally loving, but I'm also very protective of my own heart, very protective of my own inner child, and very logical in my decisions because of what we have gone through. Okay, so if you're going to come to me, come correct or don't come at all. This is the energy of the divine feminine, and this is as it should be. Okay, and the divine masculine is being forced to adjust themselves. Okay, if they want to be in the presence of the divine feminine has chosen, and really it has been out of necessity that she stands in her power. Okay, so basically a lot of them they've been very immature. The divine masculines have been acting out a lot of immaturity. They've been focused on, they've been basically been lured away, and they've been enticed. They've been they've been what are the tempted, okay, by money. They've been tempted by sex. They've been, and they've been using manipulation to get those things, okay. So they've went out and they ran away from the unconditional love of the divine feminine, and they went and found something that would be much easier. They did not want someone who was a mirror and reflecting back to them their own divinity, okay, because they weren't ready. They didn't love themselves, and so they couldn't accept that love from you, divine feminine. So they went out and found someone who was not going to be a mirror reflection of themselves, okay, the good and the bad, okay, reflecting back their shadows and their light. This is what you are to one another, and they were not ready to do that, okay. You asked for closure, okay, a long time ago, divine feminine, and now the divine feminine no longer feels that they need it from the divine masculine. The divine feminine has been forced into trusting her intuition. The divine feminine already knows the truth. Okay, so we no longer feel that need of the divine masculine. They feel us disconnecting from that need to have it. Okay, they turn their backs on the divine blessings that the divine feminine was bringing into their lives. They wanted to go and have their adventures. And if you are a true divine feminine, you allowed them to do that. You let go. You did not chase. You were tired. You were exhausted. You were forced to care for yourself because you had already been depleted of your energy. Okay. And when they saw that you had drawn back your energy, which is what you were supposed to do, divine feminine, they feel that lack. Okay, they feel that need for, again, they want that comforting, nurturing, mothering, divine feminine, unconditionally loving energy. Okay, but They left you, for something that didn't have that to offer, trying to have it all. Okay, and the karmic was a reflection of their lack of self love. Okay, and so now as they are waking up, they are beginning to see that more clearly. Okay, but they went out and had their fun. Well, while the divine feminine was being forced to work alone. Okay, and now the divine feminine is almost completely healed. Okay, so the emotional imbalances now are being basically brought to the forefront. Okay, the emotional imbalance was never with the divine feminine. The divine feminine has always been the healer, the nurturer. Okay, the divine feminine has always been telling the truth. The divine feminine was always willing to work on the relationship. The divine feminine has made many adjustments. And now, divine feminine, it is your role to just sit back and receive. You are not required to do any more work at all. Okay, you have given more than enough. Okay, the divine masculine is now being forced to surrender to the journey. Okay, because all of these empty cups representing all of these options that they had that were so unfulfilling, that only pointed out to them the holes that they had in their own soul. Okay, they are being forced to surrender because divine feminine, they need you to survive. Okay, the divine feminine is standing in her power, independent. Okay, independent. And the divine masculine is facing the truth of his own emotional codependence. Okay? This is why they have not let go of the toxicity of the karmic relationship. This is why they held on for much too long. They should have let go a long time ago, and they didn't let go. So they held on until in that karmic situation, it became tragic for them. And they suffered some form of emotional or mental trauma. Okay? The same things that they put the divine feminine through, the karmic put them through. This is what the karmic came into the situation to do, to facilitate that lesson. And the lesson has been or is being learned. Okay, again, the DM is facing the truth of his own emotional codependence. Okay, and as the divine feminine grows in power, the divine masculine is losing power. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, okay? He is being forced to surrender. Now, the part of him that is losing power is the ego, okay? Because the divinity within him is taking over, okay? So the ego, which has been standing in the forefront the entire time, which has caused all of the pain that he is now feeling, all of the pain that he caused the divine feminine was all caused by his ego. Okay? And now he wants closure. He wants all the things that he wouldn't give you, divine feminine. He wants those things from you now. Okay? He is losing power. He may still be fronting, okay? But he is most definitely losing power. Okay? Basically running around trying to mask his childhood pain with someone who has that same hole in their heart. This is what the karmic represents. This is what they, this is the attraction. This is their point of attraction. And yes, the karmic is a soulmate, a toxic soulmate. Someone that was sent in, their relationship was meant to be in order to facilitate the lesson. It's like, you have many adjacent possibilities on any road that you're on, okay? So on certain roads you turn down, and yes, it's the wrong path. But on that wrong path, there exists these karmic partners who are going to give you that wrong ass experience, okay? So that to set you right, set you back right, set you back straight. It's just like I was talking about, I think I was doing the divine masculine reading the other day, or somebody's reading on my Badass Tarot 2 channel. And I was talking about, for some reason, my angels, they popped into my mind these two board games, Trouble and Sorry. Okay, and I'm sure you guys have played these games. Okay, and one of them is a pop-o-matic game, but in both of the games, basically what I was being shown is that how, when you can get, because in both of those games they're so frustrating because you go through all of these obstacles, along the board to get to, the finish point, and when you're at the finish point you're safe, and you might have like five, like each person has like 4 or 5 players that they're trying to get through all of these obstacles to a spot where they're safe on the board. Okay, and on both games there's certain moves you can make, and that the other your opponents can make to basically, even if you've gotten to like one spot before you get to the safe zone, they can come and take your player and put it right back at the starting point. Okay, so basically erasing all of the progress that you thought that you had made. So until you're actually in that safe zone, you can still get set back at point zero. Okay, and this is basically what has happened and what is happening to the divine masculine. Okay, they thought that they were making progress as far as running from the divine feminine, as far as taking this easy route. I'm going to take this karmic, and they didn't realize that the karmic was a reflection of all of their childhood pains that they were trying to mask. She was a reflection of their own dysfunction, a reflection of the holes in their own soul. Okay, so the karmics are people who need healing as well. They are usually narcissistic as well. They usually have a lot of unhealed childhood wounds. They need to do inner child work. They are usually immature in their communications, immature in their, emotional development. And so, basically they show the masculine, or they show the karmic partner, a reflection of what they have been doing to their divine counterpart. Okay, and they are forced to awaken. They're forced to see it because they are forced to experience it now. Okay, from the other side, and this is why the karmic came into the situation. Okay, so basically the divine masculine is losing power as the divine feminine is gaining power. The divine masculine needs to learn that the only way that they're going to bring divine power into their lives, the only ways that they're going to receive divine provision and divine guidance is when they learn to be grateful for what they already have. They were gifted. The divine feminine coming into their lives was a divine blessing that they actually prayed for. Okay, they prayed for the divine feminine. And then when they got the divine feminine, they did not appreciate the divine feminine. Okay, they tried to treat her as if she was ordinary. Okay, less than ordinary. Okay, they made a lot of you feel as if you meant nothing to them. They told you that you added nothing to their lives. Okay, they did not appreciate the divine blessing that you were. And so you were taken away from them. Okay, you were taken out of their grasp, and they were given someone who was on their level of appreciation. Okay, which was no appreciation at all. Okay, so the divine masculine needs to learn to be grateful. Okay, because only when you're grateful can you receive the abundance that the divine has for you. Okay, they need to learn to have humility. Like, okay, they want everything and they are never satisfied. This is why they went out and had all these other options that they had already had achieved victory when they got the divine feminine, but they did not appreciate it. Okay, they did not appreciate the divine gift that the feminine gave into their lives. You already were loving them unconditionally. You were accepting their bullshit. You were making excuses. You were willing to compromise. You were willing to try to understand. You put up with more from this person, divine feminine, than you would ever have put up with anyone, than you've ever put up with within your life. You made a lot of adjustments for them. Okay, and they had you. They had everything that they wanted, and they did not appreciate you. When they had you, they were still looking for something else. They thought the grass would be greener. So they were forced into a situation where they have no choice but to face the fact that you are very rare, and they can search to the end of the earth and they will never find another you, that they cannot survive without you, that you are their very breath, their life. You are their sunshine. You are their backbone. You are the air that they breathe, the divine feminine. And so it took for you to take back your power. and to know your own worth, to demonstrate the fact that you know your own worth, not just talk about it, but to be about it, so that not only he can see it, but so that the world can see it. Okay. And so he recognizes that he needs to hold you in high regard if he wishes to be in your presence, that he needs to respect you, that he needs to value you, and he needs to show you that he values you, not to hold that within his mind and within his heart, but he needs to give you that energy of being valued. He needs to speak it, those words to you. He needs to speak life into you. He needs to lift you up. He needs to be supportive. He needs to be appreciative. And if he cannot be that, then he needs to let you go so that you can receive a divine replacement, because he knows that you, divine feminine, deserve it. The divine masculine still has not taken full responsibility for his actions, but they want closure. Okay? A lot of the divine feminines are over it. They're ready to move on. They don't give a damn about closure. Okay? The divine masculine is manifesting the divine feminine, but a lot of the divine feminines are no longer manifesting the divine masculine, okay? Because they have had so many chances in the past and they chose sex, drugs, and rock and roll over the divine feminine. The divine feminine is healed. The divine feminine is getting healthier day by day, and the divine masculine is crashing and burning, okay? They are being forced to surrender to the journey. They are learning that when you try to hurt the divine feminine, divine masculine, you only hurt yourself. When you try to cause destruction, when you try to bring about someone else's downfall, you will be the one who falls down. The divine masculine is learning that there will be no forward movement until they take full responsibility for their actions. It is necessary for their own growth. It is necessary for forward movement. So until they take full responsibility for their actions, they will be the little man on the motorcycle that I saw in my dream going around in circles. Divine judgment has come down on divine masculine, and until they take full responsibility, there will be no forward movement, but they will all be going around in a circle of hypnotic rhythm. The divine masculine needs to learn to nurture and love the divine feminine aspect of themselves so that they can learn to respect and love the divine feminine in others. The divine feminine has given herself closure. Okay? They no longer need closure from the divine masculine. Okay? So if the divine masculine does not wish to crash and to burn like the little man on the motorcycle going around in circles, in a loop of hypnotic rhythm, continuously doing the same thing over and over and over. And I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay? Until the divine masculine accepts that there will be no forward movement, until they take full responsibility, they will continue to crash and burn. It is necessary to accept responsibility for what they have done. Okay? Regardless of whether or not the divine feminine needs closure from them, the divine masculine now needs closure for themselves. Okay? So I'm going to leave you guys with this. The divine feminine, I hope that you have heard within my words your power and understand where you stand. And I hope you continue to stand in your power, because a lot of the divine masculines are going to be coming back, crawling at your feet with apologies. And my suggestion is that you don't go easy on them, because nobody went easy on you. They were out having adventures and living their best lives. They chose sex, drugs, and rock and roll over you when you were dying, when you were begging for closure. All you wanted was closure. All you wanted was the truth. All you wanted was for them to be honest so that you could move on. And they withheld that from you. They didn't give a damn about what you were going through. So until you feel that you have been fully satisfied, okay, don't accept half of an apology. Don't make it easier for them. You make them step up. You make them man up, because the universe is not going to allow you to do anything less. And if you do try to accept less, divine feminine, you are going to suffer, because the divine insists that you love yourself and that you require that anyone who steps into your presence love you at least as much. Okay? So when they come with their apologies, they better come correct. It better be all true. There better not be anything omitted. You will feel it, divine feminine. You have learned to trust your intuition. You will feel it if something is being omitted, if they're not telling the truth. Because if they're not telling you the truth, they are disrespecting you. Okay? And you are not going to accept that. From this point forward, you will not accept anything other than the absolute truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Period. We're not playing games. Okay? Your heart is not a game. Your life is not a game. Your time and energy are not free to anyone anymore. Okay? Anyone stepping into your energy, your field of influence, must be of a certain caliber, and there are no exceptions. The divine masculine must learn, the divine feminine, that you are not the person that they ghosted. You are not. You have changed for the better. You are stronger, better, and wiser. And if they wish to join you on this path, they better become stronger, better, and wiser. No exceptions. Until we meet again, my people, keep it classy, keep it clean, and do what you got to do to make shit happen. Peace.